He pulled out a sword that dealt 1d100 damage per hit. Welcome to the Twisted Pint Tavern. Today we're visiting r/D&D to check out the answers to what is the heaviest single roll you've ever seen. As in, what was the roll that, completely changed the course of the game, uncovered the truth, lifted a curse, etc. My setting has a swamp city, famous for its mystery. It's isolated and disconnected from the rest of the country, and is known for its tagline, "Nothing gets out." It's ruled by a mysterious mayor who only a very select few of the city elite have ever even seen. My players teleported in, managed to get themselves into a gala that the mayor would be overseeing with the plan to confront them. What they didn't know, and were terrified to discover, is the mayor was an ancient black dragon. The battle was intense. Even with Avatar State-like special boons, long homebrew story, the three were having a hard time. They traded blows well, but they were looking rough. Then the party warlock went down. She got blasted by the acid while hiding in a ruin. Then the party cleric went down. He was running along the balcony trying to reach the warlock, and the acid breath blasted him. He collapsed to the ground in a corner and died. What I didn't mention is the party's Artificer, who had also just gone down. The dragon had just killed the cleric and was about to gloat in glory when the unthinkable happened. The Artificer rolled a nat 20 on his last death save. He got up with 1 hit point and low on spell slots. He blasted the dragon, who was also on the edge of life. The Artificer taunted the dragon, they'd slain his daughter a few quests back, and they ran towards each other. One final blast from the Artificer was enough, and the dragon went down. That single nat 20 turned this from a campaign-ending TPK into a victory, and it will go down in my history books as one of the most intense battles and heroic moments. 3 level 13 PCs took down an ancient black dragon with only 1 hit point left. It was crazy. It's always the nat 20 to clutch coming back from a death save that feels the best. Like, yes, technically you're only at 1 hit point. You could die any second, but if you can pull it off, if you can survive and get that killing blow to save from a TPK, it just feels so good. I have an 8-inch D6 made out of 1/8 inch thick sheet metal that I made a decade ago in metallurgy school. Pretty chunky. I don't think that's what they meant when they said the heaviest die roll, but you know what? Good on you, nice D6. Had a wild magic roll disable all magic above level 2 spells during the BBEG fight once. Suddenly going to a low magic campaign for the most important fight of the campaign was pretty pivotal. Yeah, especially because most BBEGs have really powerful spells, and if they can't cast those, then it's kind of just a murder fest. I mean, you got like what, 4 or 5 people going up against one guy who can't use his magic anymore? Ran a high-level campaign, ending in level 20. Had a devil as the BBEG who could only be killed with one specific knife. Otherwise, he would just respawn either in Avernus or on the material plane thanks to a series of contracts. The PCs got this special dagger and engage in the final battle. By the end of the fight, he has downed 1 PC and all the others are in single digits of health. His turn is right after our wizard's turn, and the devil has at-will fireball. So the party knows if he gets a turn, it'll be a TPK. Both the Druid and Barbarian have missed their attacks. The Barb hit 1 to get him to critical health, but then missed the second. So it's all up to the Wizard, who has like a +6 to hit against a 21 AC. He rolls and gets exactly a 21. The table goes nuts as I blast heroic music and the Wizard's player describes the final kill. One of the best rolls and moments in my campaigns. Man, leave it to the Wizard to get the killing blow on the BBEG devil. Like, everyone else is missing their attacks, they can't land it, and then the Wizard just strolls on up and he's like, oh, don't worry guys, I've got this. Rolls the 21, kills the BBEG, it's great, it's a great time. Not a single roll, but a set of rolls for a single, seemingly benign event. Had 2 PCs and their paired NPC counterparts going through an unstable portal created by someone not originally from their time. They YOLO'd in despite of the lack of stability, and I had the players and myself for all the NPCs all roll. In hindsight, I'm not entirely sure what I wanted out of the roll, but one player got a 4 and the other got a nat 20, and their opposite NPC counterparts respectively also got a 4 and a nat 20. I hadn't really planned on anything happening with the portal originally, but after seeing the results, I decided to split the party across time and let them figure out how to get back together. Completely unintended and completely changed the trajectory of the entire story ever since. But those moments can be some of the best moments. Like, I get it, you have a whole campaign planned out and you don't want to just ditch the last half of it, right? But when these kind of moments happen, you realize the game has taken on a life of its own, and that campaign That's no longer just yours. That belongs to your world, your table, and it's evolving as it goes. And that is so much fun to be able to play in. Our Barbarian crit in an arena fight against Hercules. It was a close match, but the gold he earned from winning set us up for the BBEG that was a multi-level boss fight against former OP character builds from various D&D campaigns we've done before. Honestly, I think I'm gonna just gloss over the fighting Hercules in an arena thing and say, what did you do to that DM with your overpowered characters to where he decided he was gonna punish you by making you fight said overpowered character concepts? Like that's definitely a punishment. You might think it would be a D20, but no, a D6. 5 or 6, they're forgotten failures, only adding to the dragon's legend. On a 1 through 4, they slay the beast, becoming legends in their own right. And the dragon lived happily ever after. There it is. That's the ending we were looking for. I gave a demigod our last phoenix potion. Everyone was mad at me until the demigod told a whole story of how he had a lot of them long ago. He pulled out a sword that dealt 1d100 damage per hit. I had to be worthy of the sword to use it, so I rolled for worthiness. I got a 19. Strange for a mentally unstable, chaotic neutral gnome. I lifted it easily. Later we used it to break through a wall to get to our friend and to a vampire orc boss. Look, I am a fan of dealing a lot of damage just as much as the next guy, but as soon like if your damage roll exceeds a D12, you're asking for problems. If it's a D100, you're just asking for insane, absurd stuff to happen. In an AD&D campaign, yes I'm old, my 3rd level fighter, who had lost his weapons, got into a fight in a bar with a dwarf using a 2-handed Vorpal sword. I rolled 3 20s in a row and knocked him out. That sword became my fighter's primary weapon for the next 5 years worth of campaigning. So technically 3 rolls, not 1. I've never rolled 3 20s in a row in the 40 years since. First off, picking a fight with a dwarf who has a Vorpal sword in a bar does not strike me as the best idea. But hey, you got the sword out of it, so that's good. But secondly, 40 years of D&D playing, like that is awesome. I love that. Do you guys see yourselves playing D&D for 40 years? Let me know down in the comments, as well as what your best, most pivotal die roll was that maybe changed the course of the game. You can also share your stories in the Twisted Pint Tavern Discord server using the link in the description. It's a great place. And I will see all of you wonderful folk in the next video. Oh, by the way, we have a podcast now. If you haven't already checked out the first episode of the Definitely Not a Mimic podcast, do so by clicking the link in the description that says Definitely Not a Mimic. You'll find it. And you can watch the first episode as well as a couple segments of our first episode if you're not feeling the whole hour-long podcast thing. But anyway, now I'll actually let you go. Farewell, have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, what's my story of the best die roll of all time in my games? Well, I'm a forever DM, so pretty much anytime one of my players nat 1's a saving throw. I like that.